been 3 months since Attorney General Rob Bonta issued the legal opinion, but not much has changed. The chairman of the California Nation's Indian Gaming Association joins us now. Chairman James Siva, thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Major daily fantasy sports operators are still doing business in this state. Their apps are up and running despite the Attorney General's opinion. How are gaming tribes feeling about that?
You know, we continue to be frustrated by the entire situation. We applauded, the decision coming down from AG Bonta. But as we see, there hasn't been any enforcement of that, that ruling coming down from his office. And frankly, we're frustrated by it, but we're not completely unsurprised by it. There are a lot of companies operating now, as been proven, illegally in this space. And frankly, we're concerned that the AG's office just doesn't have the resources for this type of enforcement action that is required.
That lack of resources, do you think that's the only holdup in this?
I don't believe it's the only holdup, but I do think it is a very crucial part of this process that is missing, I think.
Have the tribes considered suing those daily fantasy sports operators to potentially push the AG to take legal action here?
I think that's something under consideration. I think we would really prefer that this rule just be enforced and not have the tribes have to do the work of the state, which is not the first time that's happened, and I'm sure it will not be the last. But we would prefer very much for the state of California to handle this issue coming from their attorney general on their ruling on the grounds of they're violating state law as well as tribal exclusivity and sovereignty.
Is it just daily fantasy that the tribes have a problem with, or is season-long fantasy also an issue for the tribes? What exactly is the issue for you all?
Our issue is when they are games being played online that are house-banked games. We've talked about the difference in fantasy, the difference between peer-to-peer games, the difference between these games that are being, that play and feel like a house-banked game where you're betting against the operator and the operator is taking the risk of that wager. That's mostly the types of games that we're focused on. I do believe that overall, the more peer-to-peer fantasy sports have a place as long as they are well regulated and well run. Our major concern is if there's nothing that speaks to it in the California Constitution, that it would therefore be illegal, because the only entities that are able to offer any form of gaming in the state is tribes and the card rooms, which have existed for a long time as well.
So to clarify then, it's daily fantasy that's the problem?
I mean, daily fantasy is an issue. We also have been dealing with the sweepstakes games, which are somewhat related, but not directly, but often kind of get misconstrued together. We are glad to see the sweepstakes bill that Sinaga supported signed into law this week by Governor Newsom. These are probably the two that we have been working on longer. I would say the biggest issue that we are concerned about are actually neither of those issues, but rather the emergence of prediction markets and these sports event contracts being offered by companies such as Kalshi, Crypto.com, Robinhood. Those offerings have much more concerns for tribes at the moment, but we continue to work the daily fantasy issues, the sweepstakes issues as well.
Okay, sticking with fantasy, I mean, it has become such a big part of sports. Do you think it has absolutely no place in California, or is it something that you think perhaps the tribes should be able to control?
Yeah, I think it could have a place in California. The tribes' concern has always been the protection of our clients, of our consumers, but also the regulation of the game. Tribal gaming is perhaps the most well-regulated industry, not just in the state of California, but in the country. Regulated on 3 different levels, from the tribal level, the state level, and the federal level. And so we come into gaming wanting to do things well, wanting things to be very straightforward, transparent, and clear to our consumers, our customers. So as we look at fantasy, if there is a place to be able to offer well-regulated fantasy sports with a clear delineation of what the rules and offerings are, tribes would, obviously take a look at that.
And getting even broader then, I mean, sports betting generally, is there a future where California could have it legalized and the tribes be supportive of it?
Absolutely. At Sinaga, we have never stopped talking about sports betting, going back to 2022 when we had the two opposing propositions that both, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your view, failed. We continue to work through this next offering of gaming into this market and what that looks like. There are still lots of questions to be answered. And primarily, the one that I try to bring us back around to is, do Californians want online sports betting right now? We continue to do massive amounts of polling, and our indication is that they are not ready for sports betting, that they have major concerns about, underage gaming. They have concerns about, bad actors. They have lots of concerns about regulation. Similar things that we are concerned about as well, but we do believe there is a path forward for sports betting, but that path begins and ends with tribes. Tribes are the gaming operators in the state, and we will, continue to do what we can to defend this industry that we've created, and also to continue to benefit the communities that we're a part of. A big part of tribal gaming is our charitable giving, and we continue to uplift those communities around us. And we know what good we've done here in California, but we are concerned about outside companies, out-of-state companies coming in and having access to the market with no ties to the community, with no, not providing any new jobs here in California, not providing any new revenue to California. So as we look at sports betting, when it comes, it will come through the tribes.
Chairman Siva, thank you so much for your time and joining for California Politics 360.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.